Now that the microphone's on, let's try that again. Everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Katie, and I'm a flute player who does video game, anime, film, TV, music covers here on YouTube. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, I will leave a link to my playlist of all of my covers and you can check that out. I'm also a Twitch streamer where I do all of my gaming adventures over on twitch.tv/Katie Shesko. And today I am doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to have a practice with me. So if this sounds interesting, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTubey things in the description, and let's dive in. As a busy musician and as a busy mom, practice time is sometimes hard to come by. So I try to sneak it in as much as I possibly can. And one great way that I like to try to do it is what's called the Pomodoro Technique. Now, if you are in the productivity sphere, you would be very familiar with this term. But for those of you who might not follow productivity stuff, Pomodoro Technique is essentially where you focus on one task for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. And ideally, you would do 3 or 4 of these, alternating between working for 25 minutes and taking a 5-minute break. And then at the end of 3 or 4 Pomodoro sessions, you would take a much longer break. Now, as much as I would love to devote 2 straight hours to practicing, that's just not feasible for my life. But I can still take the general idea of a Pomodoro and apply it to my practice session. So that's what I'm going to do for you today. Ideally, I would like to get 2 Pomodoros in a day, but if I only get one, I still consider that a win because 25 minutes is better than 0 minutes. So why don't you hop in and why don't you Pomodoro with me today? Now, I like to start off the session. I have my phone. I use an app called Focus To Do, and it's basically already preset 25 minutes. And then at the end of the 25 minutes already has a 5-minute timer ready to go. Now you could just do this with your regular timer app on your phone, but I like to have this because it's already ready to go. I don't have to be fiddling with numbers. Start, go. And it can also track. Also has a strict mode where you can like completely turn off stuff on your phone so that you cannot use it while you're supposed to be focusing. Now I don't do that, especially because I have kids and I need to be available in case, while the kids are at school, someone's trying to get a hold of me or anything like that. Now it's summer vacation right now, so that's not as big of a concern, but I just like to not completely block myself out for those reasons. As you can tell, just got a notification. That's from my husband. So I will at least vibrate my phone. That way if something comes up, I am somewhat aware of it. But if I can see that it's not important, then I can just ignore it and address it during my 5-minute break. So I have that. I have my flute all ready. I have my water ready to go. I also never practice without my metronome. And I should be set up for a Pomodoro. So the things that I definitely want to address for today, I want to get through one of my Taffanel-Gobert scales. I believe it is Taffanel-Gobert number 4, where it essentially goes through all of the 12 major and minor scales. I don't have that kind of time. I'm only going to be practicing for 25 minutes, so I tend to focus on the ones that I struggle with. Today we're going to be working in G flat and E flat minor, G flat major and E flat minor, mostly because that is the scale that my etude is in. And as you can tell, I get distracted by my dog. So yeah, that's partially why we are up here. I practice up here in my music room. This is where I teach my private lessons. Many of you would be familiar with my downstairs studio with my backdrop. But when the kids are home, I have all of my music stuff up here. So this is where I tend to practice. Plus I have my gorgeous deck. In my music room, we have the sliding glass doors to our deck. So it's a lot of natural light. It's beautiful scenery. And that just kind of brings me a little bit more joy than staring at my basement walls. So let's go ahead and dive in. And let's focus. Now. this is when I tend to move on to my etude. We'll talk a little bit more after. Yes?
Nothing.
Oh, you just looked like you had something you wanted to ask.
Nothing. I didn't want to ask anything.
Okay.
Just
Wanted to what?
wanted to, I guess.
Okay. What time? Gosh. Sounds good. And there we go. That's 5 minutes. So now I will probably stop there right now. So let me talk a little bit about what I ended up doing. So I did, as I mentioned at the beginning, I did the Tapenade Gobert number 4 with the focus on the G flat major and the E flat minor, and that is because that is what my etude is in, which is an E flat minor. So I have been taking private lessons. I'm currently on a 1 month break from lessons just because there was just too much going on and I had to constantly reschedule. So I'm still working on this etude from my last session, which I'm okay with because this one. So my current etude book is the Anderson Opus 21 etude book. That was number 14. And it's an E flat minor, which is not already a horrible minor to think of, but like the amount of accidentals that are in this one and the accidentals going between flats and sharps, it is mind numbing. So it requires a lot of concentration. So I don't mind the extra time on this one because it's a really good one, but whew, is it rough. Yes, what do you need? So after spending a chunk of time on that, I then moved to the Burton Sonatina, and that is movement 3. Now I didn't delve too far into this particular piece because I am really working on getting those trill fingerings for those parts really smooth and getting them really muscle memory because some of them are not intuitive. So getting them within the beat and in the tempo and getting just those fingerings under my belt, which has been the focus of that piece in particular. So that's where I spent that time. And then I always like to spend the last couple minutes working on something that I'm working on because right now my next song that I'm currently arranging is Sadness and Sorrow from Naruto. And that is a very simple song and it's a very slow song, so it doesn't require much as far as like technical abilities, which is why I did not devote a larger portion, but it's just a really pretty song. So I like to try to end my practice sessions with something that is easy and pretty, because that's kind of reminds me why I play the flute, and it makes me feel not as discouraged when I have like a really hard etude with a really challenging solo piece. And I also threw in the beginning a little bit of orchestral excerpts, which that was the and I know the dog's gonna want to come in like 30 seconds. But as part of my warm-up, I threw in a little bit of the Mendelssohn Midsummer Night's Dream. I don't really plan on auditioning for orchestras, but I do think that learning the orchestral excerpts is really good, especially as my students are getting older and they will, you know, eventually be learning some of this stuff. So I want to get some of this stuff under my own belt, because I didn't go to music school, so I did not learn this in school. So it's kind of more of a self-pacing thing. And as much as I didn't get to practice it within this Pomodoro, I still like to run through it, keep the general notes under my fingers, and then really work on a couple of those trouble spots. And I'm slowly increasing the tempo and working on getting the double tonguing to go with it. So even though I didn't do a whole lot of work on it, I still like to throw it in, especially as a warm-up if I play it kind of slow, to just, yeah, keep it under my fingers in case I don't get to get another Pomodoro and practicing. Thanks for practicing with me. I hope this was kind of informative. And what I will do is I will clean my flute out, which I use a flute flag that I just have out, and I will give it a good wipe. And then I have a flute stand here that I will just set my flute on, and I have a dust cover plus like an anti-tarnish wrap for it, and I will show that in just a second. So here you can see my flute on the stand and my nice little anti-tarnish dust cover for when I leave my flute out. And after this video, I will probably move it to my desk where it's a little bit more safe than on the floor. And I'll leave it out because if it's already out and assembled and ready to go, I'm more likely to actually pick it up and practice again. And also I teach later today, so that'll just save me a little bit of setup time. So yeah, if it's already out, I might play a couple notes while I wait for my student to arrive. So yeah, I hope this was kind of informative. Thanks for practicing with me. If you kind of like these videos, please let me know in the comments. What else would you like to see, just general flute content wise? So thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you really liked this content, or if you have other ideas for things that you would like to see from me, please leave a comment below, and like, share, subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Like I said, I am a musician. My name is Katie, and I am a flute player. What's up, Ben?
There's little puppy inside. And I'm gonna go into the front yard.
Okay.
I'll be running inside.
Come on, Macbeth, let's go.